The central question in today's analysis isn't whether some under-the-radar company makes foam products. It's whether UFP Technologies, ticker UFPT, has quietly built the absolute most impenetrable medical manufacturing business in America.
Picture walking into a state-of-the-art operating room. The surgeon is actively operating using highly advanced robotic instruments. There's a patient on the table, maybe with an implanted heart pump, and their surgical wound is protected by incredibly complex, multi-layered dressings. Now, when we look at a scene like this, literally everyone notices the billion-dollar companies. You see their massive logos stamped right on the sides of the machines, but almost nobody stops to notice the invisible supplier. I mean, who actually manufactured the highly engineered protective components, who made the sterile packaging, the fluid management systems, and the precision materials that make those flagship medical products possible? Well, that invisible company is UFP Technologies. They're essentially the hidden architecture behind the world's most critical medical devices.
And looking at how they got there is a brilliant illustration of corporate evolution. Every truly great business begins by solving an overlooked problem. Now, originally, UFP was focused heavily on engineered packaging and specialty foam products. It was, a seemingly ordinary commodity industrial business. But management realized a fundamental economic truth. Commodity packaging just creates commodity profits. But medical manufacturing, that creates recurring, high-value relationships. So they completely changed their core question. Instead of asking, how do we sell more foam, they started asking, how do we solve impossible engineering problems for medical device companies? And that subtle but really profound pivot completely transformed the economics of their entire business. They stopped competing on price, and they started competing on pure precision.
So today, UFP's true DNA is no longer generic manufacturing. It's highly specialized engineering. We're talking about being deeply embedded in medical device components, surgical robotics, orthopedic materials, advanced wound care, and sterile packaging. When these massive healthcare companies come to UFP, they aren't just buying a physical piece of material. They're buying absolute reliability. They're buying strict FDA regulatory compliance and exacting precision. And this is exactly what creates those incredibly sticky customer relationships. Replacing UFP isn't like just swapping out a paper supplier. Every single replacement requires massive regulatory approvals, intense validation testing, complete engineering redesigns, and production qualification. Honestly, switching is so brutally expensive and risky that it effectively locks customers in for the long haul.
To really understand this, let's map out how the competitive battlefield is structured in this space. Imagine it in 3 layers. Layer 1 is your commodity manufacturers. They're fighting over the lowest prices, offering zero differentiation, facing constant competition, and dealing with miserable margins. Then you step up to Layer 2, which is standard contract manufacturers. Sure, they have better capabilities, but at the end of the day, they are still entirely replaceable. And then you have Layer 3, the mission-critical engineering partners. This is exactly where UFP operates. Their competitors aren't generic packaging companies, they're other highly specialized medical manufacturers. They leverage these incredibly long qualification cycles and complex FDA quality systems to carve out a narrow but extraordinarily durable economic moat.
If you actually go out and do some scuttlebutt research, interviewing UFP's customers, you are never going to hear them say, we use them because they're cheap. No way. You're going to hear, they solve difficult problems. Medical device companies care about consistency, flawless documentation, tight regulatory compliance, and just rock-solid delivery reliability. Why? Because in the medical field, a single production error can literally cost millions of dollars, and a single product recall can permanently destroy brand trust. So customers gladly value reliability way above price. And that dynamic gives UFP tremendous pricing power, totally sheltering them from the race to the bottom pricing you see in standard manufacturing.
Now, any serious investor has to ask one crucial question right off the bat. Can this management team actually allocate capital? For UFP, the historical track record says absolutely yes. Management has systematically expanded their highly profitable medical exposure while simultaneously dumping weaker non-core businesses. And when they do acquire another company, they aren't out there chasing flashy vanity deals. They target highly specific, niche capabilities. For instance, they've aggressively acquired expertise in minimally invasive surgery, robotic surgery, and advanced wound care. Better yet, they've successfully integrated these new operations without piling on excessive leverage, which is a trap where so many serial acquirers completely blow up their balance sheets. This right here is the very definition of intelligent capital allocation, rather than just blind empire building.
Okay, let's put the financials under the X-ray, because this is where the story gets highly compelling. Lots of manufacturers can juice their top-line revenue, but very few can actually improve their underlying economics at the same time. UFP has generally demonstrated a high return on invested capital, or ROIC, that has consistently stayed significantly above average. As they shifted their revenue mix away from those commodity industrial products and heavily toward healthcare, their profitability structurally improved. And as we know, a consistently high ROIC is the ultimate signal of intense pricing power, deep operational discipline, and a widening competitive advantage. And those high returns translate directly into hard cash. Their strong free cash flow generation has consistently supported strategic acquisitions, major facility expansions, deep investments in automation, and overall balance sheet strength. You know, accounting earnings can be legally massaged in a dozen different ways, but cash usually tells the truth about a business's actual health. Crucially, though, UFP's growth isn't just a product of acquisitions. Their organic growth is incredibly robust, with existing customers continually increasing their order volumes year after year. That deepening wallet share is a glaring sign that the underlying business model is fundamentally sound. Despite all these phenomenal metrics, there is still a massive disconnect between market perception and reality. The prevailing market belief often dismisses UFP entirely. People say, oh, it's just another manufacturing company, or the multiple is too expensive. But the reality is completely different. UFP increasingly looks and acts like a highly specialized healthcare technology supplier. Yes, high-quality compounders almost always look mathematically expensive if you're only looking at the current year. But professional analysis doesn't fixate purely on today's multiple. It focuses on tomorrow's earnings power. And for UFP, that power is being driven by a massive, ongoing trend of medical device companies aggressively outsourcing their highly specialized manufacturing.
This brings us to a really elegant application of second-order thinking. First-order thinking is pretty basic, right? It's just, healthcare is growing, so I'll go buy some healthcare stocks. But second-order thinking is far more sophisticated. It asks, who is the critical supplier that benefits regardless of which specific medical device company ultimately dominates the market? The answer is the mission-critical supplier. Let's say robotic surgery leader A wins the market, or maybe robotic surgery leader B takes over. It doesn't actually matter, because both of those companies desperately require highly engineered, sterile components just to function. So instead of taking the massive risk of betting on one specific surgeon or one specific robot, you just own the company that's selling the indispensable precision tools to every single player in the space. And that prime supplier positioning lets UFP surf some massive, structural healthcare tailwinds. We're talking about tailwinds driven by demographics, not the ups and downs of economic cycles. Look, an aging population mathematically guarantees more surgeries and more implants, period. It also drives exploding demand for chronic disease treatments and advanced wound care. Throw in the secular rise of robotic surgery, the rapid shift toward outpatient procedures, and the overarching trend of increased medical outsourcing, and you have an incredibly resilient demand profile. Sure, there are potential headwinds out there like reimbursement pressures or supply chain snags, but the sheer structural momentum of an aging, medically dependent population provides a powerful, enduring tailwind. But look, we have to stay rigorously objective here. Let's run this thesis through the lie detector test and frankly look at the black swan risks. Any serious investment committee needs to ask, what actually breaks this story? Well, a major FDA quality issue or a massive manufacturing recall would be absolutely devastating. Also, serial acquirers can and do stumble, making acquisition integration failure a permanent, lingering risk. We also have to look at customer concentration. Large medical customers have enormous bargaining power, and losing even one key relationship would severely hit earnings. Plus, broad government or insurance reimbursement cuts could temporarily slash the number of total elective procedures. None of these risks can be ignored, and they all require really strict, skeptical monitoring.
Which naturally brings us to a bit of a valuation masterclass. Retail investors will often obsess over a static, snapshot PE ratio. But professionals ask a completely different set of questions. They ask, can earnings double over the next decade? Can returns on capital remain sustainably high? Can free cash flow compound? And can management actually reinvest that cash at attractive rates? If the answer is yes to all of those, then a seemingly expensive entry multiple today might still produce incredible long-term returns. However, we can't ignore gravity. Valuation always dictates long-term reality. Even elite, world-class businesses will experience brutal multiple compression if they're purchased at irrational prices. For UFP Technologies, the case is usually strongest when broader market volatility offers you a temporary window to buy, rather than when pure euphoria has pushed the valuation way above historical norms.
So,
Let's pull all these threads together into our final investment scorecard. Business quality, management, financial strength, and industry tailwinds. These all score exceptionally high. We're talking well into the 9s out of 10. The risk profile sits a bit lower at a 7.5, which directly reflects the customer concentration and acquisition execution risks we just walked through. Ultimately, the optimist looks at this and sees a hidden, highly resilient medical compounder with disciplined management and incredibly sticky customer relationships. The skeptic, on the other hand, sees a smaller cap company where future acquisition execution has to remain absolutely flawless, and where the current valuation leaves very little margin of safety. Frankly, both perspectives are right. UFP is definitely not some speculative story stock. It is a high-quality niche compounder that patient professionals typically view as a business to own through full market cycles, rather than a stock to rapidly trade.
So I'll leave you with one final, vital question to chew on. As this company continues its quiet, methodical march up the value chain, successfully shifting from commodity materials to mission-critical engineering, the long-term playbook is pretty clear. But as an investor analyzing this space, you have to ask yourself, will UFP Technologies successfully continue compounding capital at these high rates for the next 10 to 15 years, flawlessly executing their acquisition strategy? Or will the market's current valuation ultimately leave absolutely no room for operational mistakes? It's a fascinating dynamic to watch unfold, and frankly, a true masterclass in specialized manufacturing. Keep a very close eye on this quiet compounder.